like his fucking posture's all fucked up.
Yeah, he's very like kind of world weary and like beaten down, and really, as we know and find out, doesn't have anything in this world beyond the car and what's in the boot of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll get to because it's the end of the film. But yeah, very much like kind of beaten down by everything. You mentioned it in the write-up. Everyone else in the movie, beyond maybe a handful of people, are like just regulars, like regular people, and it shows. And it kind of makes the world more authentic by having, you know, just non-professional actors in the majority of the smaller roles or speaking roles. He's great. Everything is dirty and grimy. Everything's covered in dust.
There's flies all over them the entire time. Like real flies.
He looks like he cuts his own hair because it's kind of like patchy and
like not one length and just you can see, I don't know if it's just makeup, but he's like kind of sunburnt as well.
He's weathered.
Yeah.
But they're out there like in the Australian outback basically, which is like the desert. You know, watch the movie. There's not a lot of trees around in the film. It's pretty much all open space. But that's a big part of why I enjoy the movie so much, is that it just feels very gritty and realistic. But what about you?
Yeah, ever since I saw the first trailer, like you, I was completely sold. You know, it's an A24 film. I think it was only playing at the Landmark.
Yeah, I know you and Emma saw it there, and that's where Susie and I watched it. It was at the Landmark Hillcrest.
Yeah. And yeah, I was completely blown away. It gave me everything that I would want in a movie like that, you know. Very authentic.
Very minimal, too.
Yeah, it's super minimalist.
You know, there's not a lot of roles in the entire film.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, it's just Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson on screen. Yeah,
and how their relationship unfolds, you know. Because there's a lot of suspense before Pattinson gets into the film, you know what I mean? With what exactly Eric or Guy Pearce's character is going to do, or his plan, and then once Ray, or Reynolds I think is his full name, comes into the picture, Pattinson, the film kind of changes its tone, and it becomes this kind of, these two unlikely people are forced to work together, and how they end up creating this unlikely bond, you know, over time, and how this, you know, journey affects them, and their, what would end up being as and friendship, essentially, right? But yeah, I still struggle with the fact that I feel like nobody really knows about this film. I don't think it made a lot of money at the box office.
Made about 3.2 million. That's probably worldwide.
And how much do you know what its budget was?
Its budget was 12 million in Australian dollars, which translates to about 8.6 in US currency. So it wasn't a hit. I mean, it's small. It probably didn't get a lot of marketing.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
For movies like this, they're not going to dump too much money into marketing, so it's really like relies on word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in, I think, June.
Yeah, it was a summer movie.
Yeah, it's a summer movie. So maybe it might have made more money towards the end of the year, or maybe they released it in the summer because they were afraid it would get lost in the shuffle of the late fall Oscar push. Where's
all the fucking Pattinson supporters, man? That's what I'm saying.
They just want to see him like in the pretty boy roles. But he specifically was doing this movie to avoid being typecast as, you know, that heartthrob. And he's great in the movie.
Yeah. So good. Especially because he's they totally take away like that persona. He's like super fucking dirty.
Yeah. He's kind of slow.
Yeah, almost like he might be on the spectrum or something, right? Which they never really tell us that in full what the issue is there, but he's definitely like somebody who is dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and it's even as the guys are escaping from whatever they did, sounds like a robbery at the beginning of the film. Scoot McNairy and his crew, who we find out later is Pattinson's brother, Scoot McNairy is, they're talking about, you know, Ray was kind of the reason they almost all got killed. Scoot McNairy is shot, and the older guy is complaining that he almost got killed, and it was because of Ray, and they said, you know, he was an idiot, and, you know, they're disparaging him.
And it's crazy because I feel like they leave him to die, but they know he's not dead.
Yeah.
When whatever happens, they're on like some army base, right? And it's like a botched robbery. Obviously, Ray was left for dead, but he wasn't dead.
He's like gut shot.
So he ends up getting up, and he's trying to find his way back to his brother. He takes one of the armory trucks and heads down the road. Obviously, he's not like fully himself. I'm sure it's a lot of pain. A gut shot is painful, right? But he needs some medical attention, and that's when he ends up finding Eric's character,
who, in the course of the guys fleeing, they get into an argument when the older guy is talking shit on Ray, and you know, Scoot McNairy keeps threatening him, and then that's what causes the accident, which is a great shot where you just see Guy Pearce in the bar, like drinking, and out the window behind him you see the car flipping as it goes flying down the road.
Yeah, so you see everything without the sound.
Yeah,
sound is muted.
Yeah, so they crash and then can't get the car started again, so they end up stealing Guy Pearce's car. I would say Eric, but he's never actually referred to by name in the film at all.
That's true.
But the character's name is technically Eric. But they end up stealing his car, and then that's what sets him off. You know, he gets the truck running, and which was that what they were riding in? Was the truck? Because it's like just covered in dust. But he gets that running, and he pursues them. Yeah,
because their truck, that's the vehicle that flips, and they get stuck on some turbines or something,
like cables or something.
They get scared, and they can't get the reels free. So then they go and they steal Eric or Guy Pearce's car just for a quick getaway. He comes out, sees what's happening, and proceeds to tail them. And it's not even a real chase because he's just like kind of being an asshole.
He's coming up real fast on them. Like he finds them on the road like pretty quick, and then he doesn't ram them, but he gets right up behind them. Yeah,
like super tailgating. Pulls up next to them. They're gonna try to take a shot, and they're just super kind of confused as to what his motives are. To the point where they end up pulling over, and they're like, "Hey, like what's the deal, man?" And he's just, "I want my car back."
Which is because McNairy's got the sawed off, and he's threatening him and pointing at him, and Guy Pearce just walks right up on him like he doesn't care. And
he's unarmed.
Yeah, he's Nothing. Unarmed. Yeah. Just walks right up on him. The older guy tries to get in his face, and he just immediately grabs him by the throat and like takes him down to the trunk of that car.
Yep.
And is like choking him until McNairy hits him with the shotgun and knocks him out. But he just walked right up to the guy with the loaded shotgun, didn't even care. That's kind of where you can tell where his character is at. Like he literally just doesn't give a shit. and he's on this, for lack of a better term, a mission to get his car back. It's the only thing that he has left, the only thing that he cares about.
So then these three guys, they pull him off to the side of the road. I think they throw his keys out, so that way when he becomes conscious, he has to look around and won't be able to see where they went.
Yeah,
right?
which I always thought was weird. Like, they just threw the keys instead of pocketing them and running off so that he wouldn't have any means of getting back into the truck.
They didn't want to be too shitty. We already took his car. And why didn't they just take their truck back?
Yeah, it's obviously running.
You know, why not just switch the cars?
I mean, the truck could seat 3 people because, there's a guy in the back seat when we start out. But we won't get into that.
I just thought it was interesting.
The semantics.
Yeah, they were so keen on, no, you're not getting your car back. But it's like, yo, he just brought your truck. Your truck's right there, dude. But they were out of petrol, I think, with their car.
Yeah.
Right? He mentions that later, that they were going to need to be stopping.
He needed the petrol.
That they were going to need to stop for gas very soon.
But that's him having the truck is how Ray finds him.
Yeah. Plot-wise.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah. Because then, a little later on, Ray he stumbles into this town, sees the truck, but now Eric has the truck, and so he confronts him, hey, where's my brother? This is their truck, and then, of course, Eric right away is like, you're going to take me to your brother, where is he? And Ray is like stumbling around because he's fucking shot, can't really focus, and pretty much passes out. And so Eric was like, okay, I need to get a medical attention so that way he can tell me the information that I need to know. Are we skipping ahead?
Yeah, because we missed we missed the part where he's looking for the car still. He gets back in the truck and drives, and he comes to, I would say, like, in the best possible terms, like kind of a convenience store. Where the guys are, they're selling something. He's asking, what if he wants like a can of food or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes into the house and is asking the people that he finds, have you seen this car? He asks the kid. The kid says the grandma might know. He goes to talk to the older woman, and that's where she keeps asking, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your name. Tell me your name.
And then she lets us know as film goers that this is a shady place that he's in, because she's like, do you want a young boy?
Yeah, she's like offering up. Do you think the boy? Do you think that was the kid that Pierce was talking to before he went to talk to her?
Outside of the room,
yeah.
She's like, you can sleep with a young boy. He'll be as smooth as your forearm or something. But real skeevy shit. And so I feel like Eric's kind of attitude changes at that point, and then he's just like, I need a gun. And then he ends up going to the kitchen with like the 2 Vietnamese dudes
and the dwarf.
And he just keeps repeating himself like, do you got any guns? I need a gun. And they're trying to play dominoes or something, right? And the small dude gets annoyed because he thinks that they're cheating or something, and then so he grabs Eric by the hand, takes him out to the trailer outside without really saying a word. A really small detail that's very important in the grand scheme of things is there's 2 dogs tied up and they won't stop barking, and the small guy picks up a rock and kind of chucks it at him. Mm-hmm. And Eric or Guy Pearce notices this, and then they go into the trailer. So then he's like, so do you got guns or not? And he's like, well, what do you think I'm doing? What do you think we're doing here? And he pulls down this like little, what do you call it, like a safe